Hi my loves, and welcome to this Settle into Stillness Vinyasa Flow. We're going to be taking things a little bit slower today, really focusing on finding a little bit of pause within our practice, some time to really contemplate and really allowing the body to just settle down and find that kind of natural pause, that time to kind of reset and restore. If you haven't practiced with me before, I'm Rosie. I'm a 200 hours Vinyasa Flow teacher, and I hope you really enjoy this class. If you do, please subscribe to the channel. We are going to get started in a reclined Baddha Konasana. So coming down towards the mat, and we're just going to take soles of the feet together and allow the knees to drop wide open. So it might be that this feels super open for the hips at the start of practice. So I always encourage you to just listen to the body. So if this does feel really super open, there's the option to maybe prop pillows underneath either of the knees, or to maybe take the feet wider than hip distance and just drop the knees together. So always coming in, almost coming into the opposite. And as we arrive here, regardless of what position we're in, we want to make sure we're super comfortable. So taking a wiggle as you arrive, really allowing the body to sink down towards the mat. Maybe it's as simple as just picking up the shoulders and placing them back down, or taking a wiggle through the hips. And then we might rest the hands on the belly. If you've got the legs open wide, maybe you take the hands onto the thighs. Closing down through the eyes and just drawing that attention into the breath. So as we pause here, just noticing the quality of the breath. Noticing the inhale as it moves through the body. Noticing that little pause. There's a small pause before we exhale. We find that release. And again, at the end of the exhale, that little natural break in breath before we start that inhale again. So really just noticing the breath, noticing all of those little things. And we're not trying to control the breath here. We're just allowing it to be where it is. So we're just meeting the breath at the start of practice. As we pause here, noticing sensation through the body. So maybe we're noticing that opening through the legs, through the hips. And seeing if we can send the breath as we inhale all the way through the body. So starting at the crown of the head, moving its way down, all the way down to the toes. So free breath flowing through. Maybe we are consciously trying to send that breath down towards the hips, opening through that lower body. And you might notice here as well if there are any blockages in the breath, if there's anywhere where the breath feels like it's getting a little stuck. Knowing again that that's normal. So we're just focusing on every inhale, every exhale. And as we exhale, maybe just allowing that body to sink down that little bit deeper towards the earth. Really allowing everything to settle here. So really just allowing yourself these moments to pause, these moments to contemplate. When we're ready, just slowly using those hands to draw the knees together if they're open. And then everyone just drawing those knees in towards the chest. Option to keep the eyes closed here if this feels nice. And just wrapping the arms around the knees, just taking a small rock from side to side. So we're noticing that lower back, lumbar spine grounding towards the mat now. And from here, taking hands onto the knees and just using the hands to push the knees forwards. And then allow the knees to open out to the sides and draw them back round, back into the chest. So just taking these circles, going at whatever speed works for you. So it might be super slow here, it might be a little faster. And using that that tension through the hands to help you move the legs, taking a few in one direction when you're ready, going the other way, so opening those knees first, and then using the hands to push the knees away from you, and then drawing them back in. So just taking a few. When you've taken that last one, eventually taking hands behind the knees and just seeing if we can take a few rolls, so spine connecting with the mat. So just starting to gently rock up towards seated. It might be that you use the hands to help you, or maybe you just come up with hands behind the knees, just arriving, landing in this seated position, cross-legged. And if you're at the front of the mat, taking a little shimmy back and just taking hands down onto the knees and taking the first few moments of movement to just get all of the parts of the body moving. So taking a stretch through the hands, moving through fingertips, toes, through the feet. Maybe you take a roll of the shoulders. Maybe you're just moving the torso. So as I said, eyes can remain closed here. Just taking this initial stage of the practice to get the body moving. So moving through the neck, starting to build just that little bit of warmth, starting to wake everything up. And when you're ready from here in this seated position, we're going to inhale, just reach those arms up above the head. So stretching tall as if we're waking up first thing in the morning. Exhale, drawing hands down through heart center, Anjali Mudra, so the hands are pushing together. And then taking those hands down onto the mat in front and allowing ourselves to start to fold forward. So we're almost sweeping those hands towards the front of the mat, allowing chin to drop down through chest. And just reaching those arms forwards, coming into a forward fold. An option here to deepen slightly, so if you wish you can come up onto the fingertips. Maybe you take that gaze, drishti forwards, or maybe you're on the forearms, you come to release down. Option to take a pillow under the head for support here. And again, maybe just a wiggle through your seat as you land. So we want to ground down, landing, arriving into this forward fold. Just staying with the breath. Again, option to close those eyes for a few seconds. Taking an inhale here. And as we exhale, gently picking up that head, walking hands back through center so the torso lifts. And then just starting to come into a side stretch. So taking this left hand down beside you. And as you inhale, sweeping that right arm up towards the sky, just bending over, taking that gaze up towards the right hand. So we feel this opening through the right hand side of the body, coming all the way from the fingertips, through the hand, through the arm, down into the torso. So right side of that body opening. Next inhale that we find, just switching over sides, peeling that right hand back down towards the floor, left arm sweeps up this time. And again, gaze up towards that left hand. And it might be that you're up on fingertips, maybe you're down on the forearm. Just taking a second to find that spot that works for you. Inhale, feel that opening. Exhale, just gently padding back through center. And then taking the hands out in front and just coming into a tabletop. So shoulders stacked above wrists, hips stacked above knees. So from this tabletop, we're going to start to just really get a stretch out through the feet. So you might just want to take the hips from side to side as we arrive here. And then tucking the toes under. We're just going to start to push down through the hands and allow the hips to draw back. So we're just stretching out through the feet. As we inhale, just coming forwards, dropping the belly, lifting through the chest, through the heart space, taking that gaze forwards, keeping those toes tucked. As we exhale, just pushing back down through the hands into the feet. So just taking 2 more of these. Inhale, moving forwards, lifting through the chest. Exhale, drawing back. So we're just grounding into those parts of the body that are connected to the mat. So inhale forwards, lifting up. Exhale, pushing down through the hands. As we arrive this time, just starting to lift off the knees, draw hips up and back, arriving in a downward facing dog. So first one of the practice, and taking a nice pedal out through the feet. So just bending through one leg, straightening through the other, moving between the 2 sides. And then when you've taken that movement, both heels just starting to draw back, settling into that stillness, maybe a releasing breath here, breathing in through the nose, out through the mouth, and knowing that the heels don't have to reach the mat. It's just an idea of where they're going. Eventually, just walking those feet forwards, taking a nice bend through the knees. So feet hip distance apart. We transfer that weight into the feet. Take hands to opposite elbows and allow the head to really hang heavy here. Just take a sway from side to side. Might be that you're just lifting up through the toes and placing them back down, maybe lifting off through the heels. So just finding that connection to the earth. Eventually from here, just releasing elbows, starting to rise up. Sweeping those arms up above the head as we arrive. And taking that right hand around the left wrist, just taking a stretch over to the right hand side. So we're opening through that left side body. Inhale, coming up through center, just switching over that grasp on the wrist, taking that stretch over to the left. Inhale, draw up. Exhale, cascading down, coming into this Uttanasana, forward fold again. We inhale, lift up halfway. Exhale, place those hands down. Step or jump the feet back, high plank. Dropping knees, untucking toes. On the exhale, lowering chest down towards the mat. On the inhale, drawing up, baby cobra. Exhale, tuck under those toes, draw it back, downward facing dog. Taking a second to arrive here, a second to settle. Pedaling out through those feet. And then eventually on the inhale, stepping or jumping feet towards the hands, coming into this halfway lift again. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, lifting those arms up towards the sky. Exhale, hands come down through heart center, palms pushing together, Anjali Mudra. Inhale, sweeping those arms up again. Exhale, folding forwards, bend through the knees. Inhale, we lift up halfway, hands to shins, straight back, gaze forwards. Exhale, hands come down, step or jump feet back, high plank. Either coming through knees and chest as before, or on the exhale, rocking forwards on the toes, bending through the elbows, taking your chaturanga. Inhale, baby cobra, as we just did, or upwards facing dog, toes tucked under, chest lifted. Exhale, draw it back, downward facing dog. Just taking a second here again to settle down. So as we inhale, option to rise up onto the toes. Exhale, drawing heels back towards the mat. So they don't have to reach there, it's just an idea of where they're going. So we inhale, drawing up. Exhale, planting down. Taking one more inhale up. Exhale, release. Next inhale that we find here, pushing down through that left foot. We inhale, right leg sweeps up behind us. As we exhale, drawing it forwards in between the hands. Inhale, peel those arms up towards the sky, coming into a high lunge. So we're pushing down through that right foot, grounding down through the feet, lifting up through the arms, gazes forwards. Breathing in here. As we exhale, dropping that back knee, untucking back toes, hands come down to heart center. So we're arriving in this low lunge. So we're lifting up through the core, finding that strength through Uddiyana Bandha. Lifting up, we almost want a right angle with the knee and the ankle. And as we exhale, maybe we can allow ourselves to deepen in that little bit more. So we're keeping everything switched on. Now, option is to pause here. So taking this moment in this low lunge, or if you feel like it, taking those hands forwards, so framing the foot, coming into a bit of a runner's lunge, and then seeing if we can pick up, so taking a bend through that left knee, taking the foot just towards the glutes. Now from here, again, there's the option to pause, or maybe you can push down through that right foot, taking the hands into an interlace on the right knee. Or maybe that left hand can even reach back and we just gently pull that foot in towards us. So we're not collapsing anywhere here. We want to be pushing down through the feet, lifting up through the chest. And taking that pause, closing down through the eyes. Just staying with that breath for a couple of seconds. Taking one more inhale here. Exhale, if you've got that hand on the foot, just releasing down, framing the foot. We're going to tuck under the back toes and lift up. That left hand is going to stay grounded as we inhale, just sweeping that right arm up towards the sky, coming into an easy twist. So right fingertips are really extending. There's that long line of energy reaching down through fingers, through the hands, through the arm, into the torso. Take a big breath in. Exhale, taking that right hand back down, framing the foot, stepping right foot back to left. So we're in that plank again and coming through your vinyasa. So knees and chest or your chaturanga on the exhale. Inhale, baby cobra or upward facing dog. Exhale, tuck under toes, draw it back. Downward facing dog. From here, coming to the other side. So left leg lifts up on the inhale. As we exhale, we step it forwards in between the hands. Inhale, arms reach up, coming into that high lunge. So we've got that nice bend through the front knee. We've got fingertips lifted, breathing in here. Exhale, dropping that back knee down, hands come down through heart center, untucking back toes, low lunge. So just starting here, it's really easy to immediately kind of collapse forwards into this low lunge. So we want to just lift up, strong through our core, breathing in, and as we exhale, we then keep everything engaged, but we allow ourselves to maybe deepen that little bit more. So as I said, variation to just pause here. Maybe you take those hands down into that runner's lunge, close down through the eyes, and we just allow the body to settle. Option as well to take those hands interlaced on the front knee, and then we maybe pick up that back knee, so the right foot coming towards the glute, and that right hand might just find the back foot. We have a gentle tug towards us, but we're still pushing down through this left foot, grounding down, lifting up through the chest. Taking a nice inhale here. Exhale, releasing that back knee really gently if you have it. Both of the hands coming down to frame the foot. Tucking under right toes. Right hand comes down. We inhale, peel that left arm up towards the sky, just coming into an easy twist. Really reaching through those fingertips. Inhale here. Exhale, hand comes down. We step that left foot back, high plank, and then again working through your vinyasa. Inhale, peeling up. Exhale, tucking under toes, drawing back to that downward facing dog. And we're just going to immediately start to walk the feet forwards, take a nice big bend through the knees and come down to find a seat. Taking soles of the feet together, knees open wide. Coming into a Baddha Konasana. So we want the feet to be as near to the groin as feels comfortable. We can also take blankets, cushions, blocks underneath the knees to help them find that support if we need. Taking hands just to the feet, lifting up through the chest, taking a nice big inhale. And as we exhale, coming into this forward fold. So you want to keep the back nice and straight. So the hands might stay around the feet, or maybe you reach those hands forward so we're up on the fingertips. And just allowing that breath to move through you. Couple of moments here. Close down through the eyes. Again, coming back to this idea of sending the breath where it's needed. So we're sending the breath in towards the hips. And really working with this idea of forward motion. So instead of coming down towards the feet, we want the head, the gaze to be forwards. Moving towards the front of the room. Taking a nice big inhale. As we exhale, hands pad back towards us. Using hands to maybe draw those knees back in. And taking the feet hip distance. Just going to shuffle forwards on the mat slightly, coming down towards our backs. And we're going to come into a bridge. So rather than a restorative bridge, we're going to hold this one. So we're not going to hold it for too long. If at any point it feels like it's too much, just taking a break and coming down. Hands just coming to either side of the body. So feet hip distance apart. You want to be able to just about touch your heels with your fingertips. So just settling there. And as we inhale, pushing down through the feet, lifting the hips up. And we're going to just pause here. So if at any point, again, you need that break, you want to lower, just taking a pause, lowering the hips down again. If this feels super comfortable, you might take an interlace of the fingers and just kind of shuffle so you're coming on to the shoulders that little bit more. So really pushing up, lifting those hips up towards the sky. Gaze or drishti can be towards the belly. So maybe you just notice rise and fall of the diaphragm here as you breathe. Taking just one more inhale. Exhale, if you have those hands interlaced, just gently shimmying them out from under you. And taking the hips back down. And we're going to start to move towards our Shavasana. So taking a moment, you might lift those shoulders up, place them back down. Dependent on how the hips are feeling, it's your option to come back to where we started practice. So if it feels really comfortable, the hips maybe feel a little bit more open now, just taking soles of the feet together, knees apart. Again, if we feel like we've done enough opening through the hips, just taking feet a little bit wider than hip distance, knees together. And I invite you here to take the hands down onto the belly. And as we arrive, just asking yourself, if you could be just 10% more comfortable, what would you do? And really allowing yourself to make that move, to ask the question and then to listen to what the body's asking for. So it might be that you grab a blanket. If you're at home practicing, maybe you even get into bed for our Shavasana. So really just making yourself as comfortable as possible. And remembering that this is your time to relax, to reset, to restore. There is nothing to do here. There is nowhere to be. We are simply asking ourselves to be present with the body. So with every inhale here, just breathing in. Every exhale, just allowing that body to sink that little bit deeper towards the earth. So we're allowing the body to be heavy We're allowing ourselves this time to really settle into the stillness, to take that moment to truly pause. Also, always knowing that you can readjust within your Shavasana. So although we're moving towards that stillness, it's so counterintuitive to not listen to what the body's asking of us. So if at any point you feel the need to readjust, to wiggle, to move, to maybe change the position you're lying in, to grab a blanket, always listen if there are signs of discomfort or signs of wanting to move coming up. Just listening to the body. No one knows the body better than you do. It's your practice. So for the next few moments, just pausing, staying with the breath. So the option to take a little bit more time here, or if you feel like you're ready to start to move away from class, just either drawing those knees in together or drawing the feet back into hip distance, allowing knees to roll in towards the chest, and then just allowing the body to roll over onto one side, and keeping the eyes closed, and taking a few breaths here. Starting to bring movement back into the body, maybe just rolls through the wrists, through the ankles. And then eventually in your own time, just moving up towards seated. Again, those eyes can remain closed. If you had a blanket on, maybe you drape it around your shoulders. And as you arrive, just taking hands together and just starting to rub them. So creating some warmth between the hands. And then placing them over the eyes, dropping chin down through chest. And just taking a moment here for gratitude. So saying thank you to yourself for finding the time to practice. And then we say thank you to the amazing lineage of teachers that have come before us. Breathing in through the nose. As we exhale out through the mouth. Releasing those hands down to the lap, gentle fluttering open of the eyes. Just coming back to the space, back to the room. and really taking your time as you settle back into the body as we come out of practice. So thank you guys so much for practicing with me today. I hope that's a class that you really enjoyed. Please let me know if you did. If you've also got any requests for themes or for other classes, you can let me know in the comments down below. Any questions as well, please ask. And other than that, I hope you have a lovely rest of the day.